note, Mrs. Busby. I hate to interrupt your conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
About that, but, that's the way it is. This is radio, and we're supposed to go on. The program is Viewpoint.
Okay.
And so you can talk with the public here in just a minute here.
Well, I was just talking to our guest. She's very
nice.
nice.
A lovely lady, and we're going to be happy to have her. Going to bring her on right away. Diane, one of the things we always start the program with is a kudo for somebody or some organization in the community, something that's a little extra special. Well, we had our good friend Dr. Drew Howder up here a few weeks ago talking about his second passion, football. That's F-U-T-B-O-L, the European way we spell soccer. They had a huge tournament out here at the soccer complex behind the Walmart Supercenter out there the other day, Saturday and Sunday. And old Bill went out there to kind of take a look and see what it was all about. I'm sure glad I made that effort. It was really, I was really impressed. Several hundred folks from all around Central Illinois.
Wow.
And they have all of those soccer fields in use all day long, both days. Now, somebody had to do an infinite amount of planning and programming for that to put out the schedules and make sure this team from Burtonview is playing this team from Beeson at 8:15 Sunday morning or whatever it is, you know. So it was a great.
And not on the field with another team.
Yeah, right.
Or another two.
They had, and of course, they have smaller fields for the little folks, and that's fun to watch those little beggars run around there. And by the way, they're pretty accomplished kids. So it was a great thing, and I really, really appreciated the fact that I went out there because it really gave me a first-hand feel for what they're doing out there. So kudos to Drew Howder and Marcia and Ben and Emily and all the other folks. They had a lot of volunteers, and of course you can't put a thing like that on without volunteers, and they were there en masse, and so it was really a nice and concomitant with that is I want to say something about our Bureau of Tourism here in Lincoln County. Boy, they were out there in force. As you know, we have there's an interim director, and I'm sorry I've just gone totally blank on the name of that very, very, very vivacious young lady who is our interim director, and I apologize to her for that. Old folks do those things once in a while. But there are a number of brochures, and they were there available for our visitors. One was a walking tour with pictures of the buildings around town, and 2 or 3 other brochures. Well done. I understand David Doohan took some pictures of that, and for those things, Lincoln Printers did a yeoman's job in getting those out in time. So congratulations to those folks.
Most certainly. And to Danny Tackett for his very thought-provoking articles that he writes every week.
Yeah, those are kind of fun. Old Dan Tackett does not. Of course, he always did a nice job of writing. It was nice to see that he didn't throw away the pens and the typewriter keyboard forever after he retired.
Well, you know, when you form a habit, it's awfully hard to kick. And he had plenty of years to form the habit of expressing himself.
Well, he's done very, very well.
Yes.
Well, I note, of a serious note, we've had a terrible tragedy out there at Washington again. Once again, some nut got away, and we've lost, tragically, several lives. And, of course, obviously, the hue and cry is, got to bury the guns, get away with all the guns, and so forth. Nobody says anything about the fact that we have a law against driving drunk, and every day, several people in this country are killed by drunk drivers. What are we going to do, get away with the cars, and so forth? So let's use a little common sense, folks. Remember, you can't legislate morality, and if a guy's going to be nutty and get a gun, laws make no difference. They're going to do that. So, okay, enough of that. Mrs. Busby?
Hi.
Hello.
We're very happy to have with us today Dianna Heyer, and she's the Director of Nursing at the Logan County Department of Public Health. And I've always been very supportive of the department. I served, I don't know how many terms on that board years ago in my misspent youth, and enjoyed every minute of it. They do so much for us here. And I see that you're gearing up now because flu season's right around the corner. We were just saying before we went on the air, or I guess simultaneously we were saying as we went on the air, that this month too is nearly gone, and they go by so quickly, Diana. And now here we are. We're facing October. Fall is here.
That's right.
And winter will be here, and the flu will be coming.
That's right.
It's just like morning follows the night. And so you're gearing all up. And we were talking about it. Some friends and I were talking about flu clinics and flu shots yesterday. And somebody said, well, isn't it just a tad early for that? Well, it's not, is it?
It's not. Actually, the Centers for Disease Control recommends that we start giving flu vaccine as soon as we receive it, and most of the local health departments have gotten the vaccine here in September, and so we're all gearing up to get going. We actually kicked off with our flu vaccine campaign yesterday. Our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday from 7:30 until 4. Walk in through those hours and we'll get you a flu vaccine. Our flu vaccine is $27 for adults and $23.75 for children. Those children that are without health insurance or Medicaid, it's of no charge. So we do have that available for families, and it's just, it's so important. I think many people don't realize that thousands of people die of the flu every year. There were over 30,000 deaths, I believe, last year, and over 100 pediatric deaths. So, it is something that can be life-threatening for people, especially the very young, our seniors, those with chronic health conditions. So we really do encourage people 6 months and older to get their flu vaccine every year. And, we're starting right now, and we just encourage people to go out there and get it. I know there are a lot of concerns with some families about the side effects of the vaccine, but they are actually very safe. The most common side effects are just a little mild reaction at the site of the injection.
But you could get that from a mosquito bite.
You could, yeah.
And do.
It's very rare that an individual will have a severe reaction from a vaccination. One of the common misconceptions about the flu vaccine is that it will give you the flu. That is not the case.
But you hear it, and you hear it, and you hear it. And how often can you say that is not the case?
We say it every year. But we keep, trying to educate and inform. The injectable vaccine is not a live vaccine, so it does not cause the flu. Now, the thing that many people aren't aware of is that it takes about 2 weeks for that vaccine to start protecting you. So it is possible for you to catch the flu in that window of time.
In which case, they don't want to blame the shots, because that's not the case.
So if they experience a little achiness, which can be a side effect from the flu, they are assuming that they have the flu, and that is not, it's not caused from the vaccine.
And for us on this end of the spectrum, I'm talking about us, Willie Bill. It's probably arthritis
Seniors.
Anyway, so don't blame the shot.
By the way, I'd like to go back just a minute and establish Diane's credentials.
Sure.
Let me see your credentials.
Okay.
Tell us how we're lucky enough to bring Diane Hire aboard at our Logan County Health Department, and your background, please, Diane.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity to tell you about what we do at the health department. I find that most people are unaware of everything that we do at the health department. But my background, I have about almost 20 years of nursing experience. Most of my experience has been in public health. I worked in Macon County for a number of years as a clinic communicable disease coordinator, and then the opportunity came about for the position here at the Logan County Health Department, and here I am.
Well, we're happy to have you aboard here. You have a great group of cohorts out there with whom you work. And you know, talking about running in and getting a flu shot, boy, they move you in there quick and you're out of there before you know it.
We have a great group of
having said
people.
that, they don't hurry you. They do about it in the proper way, but it certainly is not an imposition on your time during the day.
We have a great group of people at the health department with a lot of years of experience, valuable experience, and are very knowledgeable. And we've just encouraged people to stop by and see what we do there.
Now, the amount of vaccine that you received, I remember a few years ago, the vaccines were kind of scarce. And
They were.
how in the world do you know how much to order?
Well,
Or don't you get to order?
It's always a challenge every year. You try to base your order usually on the previous year's amount that you used, but it's always kind of a guessing game. And you know, each year the preparation for next year's flu vaccine begins almost immediately to prepare for the next year. So, you know, you don't always know for sure, and you get pretty close each year. But I wanted to go back to also, we were talking about the inactivated flu vaccine. We also have a vaccine that's a flu mist, a nasal spray.
Yes.
And that can be given to children as young as 2 and up. We have that eligible. We have that vaccine through our Vaccine for Children program, and there's certain criteria that children have to meet to fit into that program.
So children will sometimes get the vaccination instead of the nose spray.
Yes. We have. This is really the first year that we've had the flu. That we will have the flu mist. So we're hoping that those that are interested in it will take advantage of that. But to let you know, that is a live weakened vaccine, and that can cause. It does not cause the flu, but the symptoms can be similar to flu and short term for several days.
And is the time lapse between the vaccine and its effectiveness, its total effectiveness, about the same as with the other?
It is.
It used to be that these vaccines were egg-based. Is that still the case?
There is some egg product in the vaccines. That is one of the contraindications to the vaccine. If you have a severe egg allergy, then it would be encouraged that you talk to your doctor about receiving it. But if you can eat eggs and you do okay with it, then you can get the vaccine.
Both the nasal spray and the vaccine
The inactivated vaccine, the injection. Yes.
I'd like to ask a question about other types of immunizations. I heard that, didn't I? Pneumonia shots. I found out the hard way that one should get pneumonia shots, and I wasn't aware of that. So would you speak to that just a minute, please?
The pneumonia vaccine it's recommended that you have at least 1 dose of pneumonia vaccine after the age of 65. If you got it before the age of 65, they recommend that you have a dose after the age of 65, but ideally 5 years should be between those doses. Now, there may be some situations for those that have chronic health conditions that your doctor may want you to have it sooner or before the age of 65, or if you're a smoker, your doctor may want you to have it.
Oh,
Well,
sure, because
we
that's
have,
hard on your life. Diana,
Ms. Heyer, if you will grab that headset and put that on. We have a caller who probably has a question for Dianna Heyer of the Logan County Health Department. Go right ahead, please, caller.
Hello?
Yes. Go right ahead, caller. Did we lose him?
I guess so.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
Well,
Hello.
yes, hello. We have a caller here.
Bill, this is your neighbor, Don.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Judy.
Yeah, Don, go ahead. We can't hear you very well.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that helps.
I was listening, half listening to what you were saying before the lady came on and was talking about the health issues, about the lovely person who is the director of, I don't know what, I'm not sure if you said.
Director of Nurses.
No, this was someone here in town who was a
Dr.
director
Hodder?
of Chamber of Commerce, or
Yes.
You're speaking of the soccer weekend that I mentioned, Don?
no. I tell you what, I just half listening, and I must.
Well,
have
yes, he did speak about an interim director at the Bureau of Tourism. And
okay, that person is Leslie Holford. She's originally from Lincoln and has been gone many years. And the reason I know that, she is my sister's daughter-in-law.
Okay.
oh, well, no wonder you know it.
Well, thank you for straight. I felt very, very blank there, but I could not come up with the young lady's name. It really bothered me. I was embarrassed, to tell you the truth. So
That's her name, and she's a very nice person.
yes, well, absolutely.
Undoubtedly.
Well, I appreciate that input and straightening us out on that.
Okay, sorry to interrupt your program there.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that
One
a
other
lot.
thing,
All
no
right.
railers.
Okay, we got straightened out on that, and we're back here we were talking about
Pneumonia
pneumonia
vaccine.
shots and so forth. As I say, I found out the difficult way that one should have those. Is there a time of the year that normally you think pneumonia in the winter? Well, I found out that's not the case. You can get it in the dead of summer.
You can. Most people get it around the same time they get their flu shot. But generally, it is recommended for persons with chronic health conditions, people that are smokers, and that you receive one dose after the age of 65. And if you had one before 65, that you have another dose after 65. But with a 5-year, should be a 5-year span between those doses, ideally. But again, your doctor may want you to have it sooner than that.
Sooner than 65.
He may, yes.
Well, I don't need to worry about that.
But we always encourage you to talk with your doctor about the vaccines that he or she may think that you need. I did think of one more thing regarding the flu mist that I wanted to clarify. With the flu mist, persons that have chronic immune system problems or have severe respiratory illness should not get the flu mist vaccine. So again, it's always a good idea to discuss with your doctor, if you have chronic health conditions, what vaccines would be the right ones for you.
Well, by the same token, with the pneumonia vaccine, if your lungs are already terribly impaired, would that be more reason to go ahead and have the vaccine to protect yourself, or would it be wrong to subject yourself to that?
It would be recommended for someone with chronic respiratory problems,
COPD,
to receive a pneumonia vaccine. The pneumonia vaccine is another one of the vaccines that is not a live virus, so it is not going to cause pneumonia. So
people used to die in droves of pneumonia.
yeah, it's an important vaccine, and pneumonia can be a complication of influenza, and that is sometimes what leads to a death, is that an individual will get influenza and then go on to develop pneumonia. So, it is an important vaccine to have, especially for those, of that age range and with chronic health conditions. So,
Judith, there's a disease called sponsor ire, and that's only curable if we give them some airtime now. So I think Mr. Ash is ready for some commercials, and then we will alleviate sponsor ire and get right back into our subject. Go right ahead, James.